Hi guys, Ray here from City Fan TV, and I'm happy. Bernard's happy. We're having a good laugh. Yeah, we should be happy, guys. It's miserable weather outside, but our hearts are full of sunshine. Manchester City have been beaten Brentford by 3-1. This is your day after review. It's the review we do after we've had a night to think about it and watch some highlights and contemplate what is going to happen in this season ahead. Bernard, it was a much-needed win. We did the business.
Yeah. I think the lights were glowing long and hard into the Etihad night last night because I think Pep had the defensive coaches in asking why all of a sudden we can't defend from a Sunday League move. But we'll I'm sure we'll touch upon that.
I got to be honest. I was out last night. I was with my lads, taking them to coming back. We were coming back from athletic training, and I had the match on in the car. And I was telling my lads on the way back, I said, because City were dominant. City were very dominant. We'll come to the team news in a minute, but City were very dominant in that early part of the game. And I just said, we're not taking chances. Story of the season. We're going to give something up cheaply from nothing when other team has not been in the game. That's been the story of our season. before I go into all that, I'm going to ask you, your score prediction, Bernard. Did you say we were going to keep a clean sheet?
2-1, I said.
Did you say 2-1? I take it back. That reminds me, what did I say?
Don't know. Did you go back to your 3-1?
Because you said, don't do that. 3-1, I said. Lots to think about. Okay, let's start at the beginning. Let's start team news. I thought you thought Alvarez might be dropped. He started every single league game for Pep. And it was Doku. Doku was your man that was dropped.
I thought it was the obvious. Well, I mean, if Haaland was going to play, I just thought Alvarez was the obvious guy. A guy called, is it Blue Tone on Twitter? Oh, he has the team a bit before anyone else. And I thought, that'll be interesting. But I was a bit disappointed not to see Stones, whether he's, was it perhaps having a rest? I'm not too sure.
Pep's got a problem, okay? And that's Gvardiol. If he's going to keep playing Gvardiol, Ake's too good to leave out. It's going to be Stones or Diaz who miss out. Basically, he's got Stones, Diaz, Akanji, and Ake for 2 spots. So he's going to keep mixing them up. That's because Gvardiol might eventually come good. The thing with the Gvardiol is, I've said it all season, he's good on the ball most of the time. He's quite safe. You give him the ball, he's quite safe. But I don't want safe. If I want safe, I'll have Nathan Ake there. He's safer than Gvardiol. He's a better defender than Gvardiol. And Gvardiol doesn't offer anything going forward except what Jack Grealish does. In my mind, I'm thinking, why can't Jack play left back? Honestly. Because Jack
feasible. It's the sort of thing Pep's done, isn't it?
Yeah. But Jack offers more than Gvardiol going forwards. Not by much, but he does. And then I'm thinking, Gvardiol can't defend for Toffee. Why don't we just play Doku at left back? Because he can offer something going forwards. I don't understand it. Please convince me why Pepe is insisting and persisting on having Walker as your wide man on the right, offering stuff, and Gvardiol as your wide man on the left. They're offering nothing really. They're offering us nothing, and I just think
even Gomez probably offers more.
Yeah, and what gets me is, it allows teams to play very, very narrow against us. They don't have to worry. Come on. Are you worried about Kyle Walker on the wing? When Doku was playing on the right-hand side in the second half, they had 2 men on him because they were worried. When Walker's there or Gvardiol's there, there's no worry. They're not going to put crosses in or not decent crosses. They're going to pass it back. So we are very, very narrow. And if you play with 8 men in the middle, how do we break them down? And that was another one. It felt like it was going to be another one of these boring games where they play a low block, we're shooting from distance, we can't get behind them, and we are going to get frustrated, and then they're going to go ahead and score. Are you worried about this pattern for the rest of the season if we're going to persist in doing this?
Yeah, there's always something in Gvardiol's contract that Pep has to play him. I mean, it's his first season Well, so what, Pep? What are you doing? What are you worried about? Just keep him out. Play him as and when. If you want him to play a certain position for him to improve, bring him in. Don't have to play him all the time. I mean, what's wrong? Has he got some contract or agreement with him that he's got to? And as you said, there's other options there. And there was one yesterday, I think it was the first half, where he did everything right, and he did the same the other week, where it was neither a cross nor a shot. Ireland was available. It looked as though he was trying to find him. It ended up hitting the corner flag. He's awful. I mean, you think of Cancelo, and when he first started, he was superb down that side. Some of the balls he played in were excellent. I mean, Gvardiol isn't just. He circulates it fine. He passes it on inside, etc. But when it comes to the crux, when it comes to actually creating something, I'm sure it'll happen sometime. Like he had a couple of shots. One was Rosed, and one brought out an okay save.
That's
and this is what you're going to get with him. But to me, it's a waste.
Gvardiol's 22. I can understand, or I can see maybe in 2 years' time he'll be a top player at that position. He's got
great on the ball, as you say. It's fantastic. His control, his vision. He's got some good vision until it comes to that last, say, that 1-4-7 break, and he misses the final black.
Yeah, you see, so that's what I've been frustrated all season by this persistence in playing Gvardiol on the left and not putting Aki there. See, it just flows to me. You put Aki there, you get Stones and Diaz in the middle. I think that's sorted. I don't think Stones
might not have had their goal last night.
I don't think they scored that goal. I don't think they scored that goal. If we had Stones and Diaz, I think it's Diaz who goes for the header, not Stones, because Stones isn't that kind of guy. Diaz goes for the header instead of Aki, and Diaz goes through Tony. And Diaz is that kind of player. So I think that works better. Diaz and Stones. You can have Diaz and Akanji with Stones on the right. I just think there needs to be a place for John Stones. He needs to be playing regularly, getting consistent games to get and maintain and retain his form. So that's a bit of the negative. But it was a worry, obviously, the way they scored, and we struggled. We were taking long shots predominantly.
The scary thing is, Ray, we knew exactly how they were going to play. Frank's told us. And that's what they did. I mean, there was no surprise, the tactics. But we looked unsettled at times. I mean, Edison had one of those games where you think, Edison, what are you doing, mate? You just love him to bits, don't we? But he was just an absolute clown. A couple of wickets. I mean, usually I remember that first half when I got it mixed up, actually, when I did my little report with that second half one, when he come out and headed it. Usually he's very good at that. Usually he'll find a City player, but it caused problems. And then obviously that second one. But I mean, Edison had one of those games where you just, sometimes, you could rely on him, but other times, and I remember corners, there was like 6 City players in the front part of the 6 yard, and Edison had 5 Brentford players around him. What sort of
zonal? It's zonal marking, isn't it? It's
bloody awful. I don't know what zone they were marking, but I mean, it was like 6. If he went over the City players, we were in trouble because they were all in front.
They were marking the twilight zone, mate. That's what they were doing. But look, the good performances, we had a few. I think Phil had a good performance. Rodri was decent enough.
KDB, excellent. I mean, hopefully kept him on for the full 98 minutes, so hopefully he won't have a reaction to that. But he played extremely well, I thought. Yeah,
KDB was brilliant. We're going to talk about our Phil, the Stockport Iniesta. He was brilliant. Again, he's been, I think overall this season, he's been one of our best players, Phil Foden. When it comes to handing gongs out at the end of the season, it might go to KDB. If he has a fantastic 6 months, he might get it. But at the moment, is there anyone better in that side? Well, you might say Rodri, but Rodri and Foden, first names on the team sheet.
Yeah, Rodri last night, Franks had said with Rodri they were going to try and bring Tony back and sort of stop what he could do, and they just couldn't. They couldn't really affect Rodri last night, which shows what a great game he had as well. But Foden, I didn't notice him overly much apart from the goals. I mean, I might have just missed bits, but it didn't matter. That was the position he was playing. He was playing that more, if you like, hanging around the box, goal hanging position, wasn't it? To score his goals. And it was clinical finishing. Most of the time he's very good. Occasionally he does fluff it a bit, but You can't. Someone said it was a perfect hat trick, but it wasn't because it was 2 left foots and a header, wasn't it? You have to be a left foot, a right foot, and a header. But
mate, hat trick's a hat trick. I don't give them.
Yeah. Well, apparently the perfect hat trick is actually when you score them one after another as well. So that was spot on because he scored his 3 one after another. Of course, if other players score in between, it's not supposed to be a hat trick.
Yeah.
We'll take it, mate. I'm not too worried about the semantics of it or whatever the word is.
Bollocks. That's what it is. But no, look, he worked tremendously hard. There was one where I think he'd scored a hat trick, and he was the man chasing down, chasing back, putting pressure. He was making lots of runs. He was the great thing about when we play this kind of, and it wasn't a false 9, but Foden was kind of floating around. He'd go into their box, and then he'd come back to the halfway line to pick the ball up. And the defenders don't know what they're doing. Yeah. And then what's happening is you get an extra body in midfield because Foden's coming back, and the midfield suddenly are outnumbered. So we get the ball, and he knocks it, takes it past.
I think his play as well sort of affected Bernardo's play last night. Bernardo's on the periphery last night.
Yeah,
I think Foden took that much control of it. I think it left Bernardo out of the picture a little bit.
But I still want Bernardo on my side. Still want him on my side. But and the good thing about having all these players back is like we can take Bernardo off and put Doku on. And Doku, he looks dangerous, and he does take people on, and he gets past them. But most of the time, I think he was in safety mode. Because they were always getting 2 men on him. So safety mode is when you're winning 2-1, 3-1, safety mode. You don't need to. And I think that's something that's going to creep into his game where, you take the piss a bit, because it was. We just
why didn't he put Grealish on, mate? Any problem?
Don't know. I honestly don't know.
All sorts of rumours flying about that he's not happy.
Well, would you be? He can't be happy. I said this already. I said this early in the season. If Gvardiol's going on the left instead of Grealish, if Oscar Bob's starting ahead of Grealish, if Doku's starting ahead of Grealish, he's got an issue. And I don't mind him having an issue because it means we're getting better. If Grealish is not your go-to man, he's not your second two. He's third choice on the left at the moment. So I don't have an issue with that because, as I said, it just means we've got a very strong squad. And it's great to have everybody available now. Akanji is going to be available next game, I think. So we'll have everybody available. Great time to have it. Lots of games coming up. Lots of points to win. I was reading somewhere that was is that the 4th away game on the bounce that we've gone behind to come back and win? I think that's
I think it's some sort of record, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, and I think I heard that's the 6th time this season we've gone behind in a game. We won 5 of them and lost 1. Was that right? By halftime or something. So anyway, it's not great. Going back to what we started with, our defending is not great. We didn't give up too many chances, I don't think, but we're giving up goals to nothing chances. That's my one concern. That's what other pundits are saying, that is our Achilles heel. Arsenal are very good defensively. Liverpool are pretty good defensively. We are not. But all that mattered was we won the game. That's all that mattered, and we did it. We've got as I said, lots of games coming up, but we are now, thanks to Arsenal beating Liverpool, we are now 2nd in the table, 2 points behind Liverpool. Get me details right. Our goal difference this weekend has helped us to catch up that goal difference mostly, because Liverpool losing, us winning, it's pretty much sorted that out. We are on plus 29. Liverpool are on plus 30. Arsenal are on plus 25. So still very tight in goal difference wise. I'm disappointed actually still, because we played 22 games and our goal difference is only 29. It should be, honestly, it should be something like
it's always been worth a point for us, hasn't it, mate? And then, of course, we're desperate to get that goal difference better just in case.
Yeah, because Arsenal are only 3 points behind. We lose a game, they win. If we lose that game in hand, the goal difference will be what's separating us from Arsenal. If we draw, we'll still be behind Liverpool. So it's all tight stuff at the top of the table. Is there anybody still in that, do you think Villa are still in? Villa are only, I say only, they're only 5 points behind Liverpool, and Spurs are only 7 points behind Liverpool. Do you think Villa and Spurs are in the title race, or have they? If they're not, do they still have a very important part to play in that title race?
Yeah, of course you do. I mean, I don't think, to be honest, we've seen it this season. I don't think Villa and Spurs have got the consistency to stay in it. It's as simple as that. They'll have a run and then go off the thing. So it's only really us three at the moment. And at this point in time, I'm confident, but obviously it could, you've got to keep winning. I mean, we've got three home games on the trot now in the league. Win all three, get the goals mounting up as well. Because I'd love to go to Anfield in March. Is it March? We go to Anfield, where as you say, the pressure's on them to get a result, and we're doing all right. But there's a bit of water to go under the bridge. We've got a derby and stuff, haven't we? And stuff like that.
But, the good thing is, it's back in our hands. Like you say, we've got Everton on Saturday. Plenty of time. Got to win that. Copenhagen on Tuesday in the Champions League. Got to get a good result there so we can rest players for the return if we need to. We've got Chelsea at home. Got to get our revenge on them. We've got Brentford at home. That's our rearranged game, isn't it?
Yeah.
So by the 20th of February, if we win all those games, we'll be very happy. We'll be top of the table by a point. Then I think it gets tough again. I think it picks up because you've got Bournemouth away, Luton away in the Cup, and there's not a lot of time between these two games. And then we got the three big games in a week. And we got United in the derby on the 3rd of March, Copenhagen on the 6th at home, and Liverpool away on the 10th. Now, that Copenhagen game, for me, takes on bigger significance, that away game. If we can win that comfortably, we can rest players for the home game, which is, as I said, sandwiched between the derby and the game against Liverpool. Obviously important games to win. So that's all interesting stuff. There's a bit of a kerfuffle, let's say, with Kyle Walker and Neil Maupay. It is rumoured that Maupay said something about Kyle Walker's private life, and Kyle Walker went crying to the ref. Well, Kyle, unless there's a line, there is a line, unless he's overstepped that line, as in Neil Maupay has overstepped that line, stop crying. Get on with it, because believe it, Kyle, most people will think Kyle stepped over the line in his private life. What's your take on it? If someone's having a pop at him, what should Kyle Walker do?
Well, what's the point, mate? I mean, it's as old as you get it on the Sunday League. You get it. You've got to take it. It's just laugh it off and say something back if you need to say something back, or just laugh at him. Okay. It's you've got to be the bigger man. Simple as that. I mean, easier said than done. Of course it is. But what is the point? What is the point? If it's something physical, someone's done something snidey to you in a physical sense, then fair enough, react. But not names. So what? You put your head above the parapet. You have to take it.
There are lines. I mean, if someone's saying some stuff about your mum or whatever, it can be very, very annoying. And Kyle Walker can easily hit back. Because Kyle Walker's a bit of a player. Allegedly, he's a bit of a player, and he could just come back down that route with Neil Maupay, and you give it back with a little interest. Say something to you. You
don't start crying about it, do you? If you're not quick enough to think of something at the time, just think of something later on if you need to, or you might have forgot about it by then.
Kyle should be expecting this. If he needs to, go and have a word with Jimmy Carr. Get some one-liners to come back with. I've got one straight away. I can't repeat it on here because we will be banned. But if he's having a go at you, you give it back to him, and knowing that Kyle's a player, he can play with anyone he wants. You give it back. Neil Maupay is the one who's going to be absolutely livid if you give it back a bit stronger than he's giving it to you.
I'd always, if I was a City player, I'd always carry my bank statement around me. Say, "There, mate, look what I'm doing. What are you earning, bud?" Because most of them, obviously, I'm sure Neil Maupay isn't on anything like what Kyle Walker's on.
I think that's a bit crude.
The captain's armband. Just have your bank statement round it as well.
Mate, I think that's crude and distasteful to talk about money. I would rather he talk talked about Neil Maupay's girlfriend or wife.
Or boyfriend.
That would sort Neil Maupay out. You know, Neil Maupay would have to come back with something stronger, and it's hard to come back with something stronger when unless you thought about it. That's it. Automatic for me. That would be the automatic go-to. Say something back like that. When you have thoughts in your head and you think, I can't say that. And that's what's going through my head. But you got to give it's like sledging at cricket. Someone says you got to give it back, come back stronger. Yeah. And I think Walker just needs a few lines, come back stronger, hits him. And if you've got 3 things lined up and you can go bang, 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 that'll be the end of it. No one's going to mess with you then. And City were winning. There's no need to get involved in something like that, because all that's going to happen is you're going to get het up. You might make a mistake. You might get a booking or sending off. What's the point? Grow up, man. Grow up. Well, there you go. I think that's it. Anything else to chinwag about the game?
No, I believe the commentator says that Pep's 1 booking away from being banned again, isn't he? So he was behaving last night, but I don't. How long does that now till the end of the season? Is he going to be on the edge of that all the time?
Well, I know with the players, I think does he get cleared at Christmas or New Year or something? But I'm not. Yeah. Obviously, if Pep's 1 away, it's going to be there till the end of the season. I can't see it anything else.
Yeah, I mean, that's because I know how it was a bit of a. It's like Rodri without Pep on in the old. But obviously, it depends who you're playing. But obviously, with big games in March going up, I mean, if he's going to do it now. But I mean, it's just a matter of self-control, isn't it? At the end of the day, Pep's got to show his. He can't expect the Walkers and Grealishes to react properly. If he's not, he's reacting emotionally as well. So he's got to set the trend, hasn't he?
Yeah. So we roll on. City move up to 2nd in the table, 2 points behind Liverpool. Goal difference is only 1 behind them. Got Everton on Saturday. Important game.
Yeah, draw last year, if you remember. 1-1. It was awful last season. Again, we should have beaten. We didn't.
Got to beat them. Got to beat them. I'll be in Ireland. I'm going on Thursday. So I'll watch the game because I got Saturday off. Working Friday and Sunday, so I'll be able to watch that game. And hopefully City will bag us 3 points. Bernard, my friend, my bosom bald buddy, thank you so much. And we will see you around Blues. See you soon. We'll come out with a preview hopefully in the next 24/48 hours. We'll see you around Blues.